Hello, this is Nemesis with another review. This is Transformers Masterpiece MP-34 Cheetus, or as we like to call him, Cheetor, the second Beast Wars masterpiece figure in the line. And as you can see, he is a cheetah. Not really that surprising. Comes with, it's the figure himself. You got, the instructions. A little bio card like usual. And multiple face swaps. I'll get to those in a little bit. Now, start off, this is Cheetor. I mean, there's some obvious robot mode stuff here in the back. It's much like a Optimus Primal in that regard. Little unfortunate. You can see little gaps here and there, but I mean, there's that hole right there that a lot of people have been complaining about. It's a little unfortunate, but there's not really much you can do without like actual magic, I guess. I have the same problem a lot of people do, which is after first transformation, the center joint doesn't really hold anymore. So as long as on the ground or whatever, it's fine. But when you lift it up, it's going to give a little. So just be aware of that if you get this guy. He does have some posability in this mode. Shoulders can move there and there, although you should use this joint more. He's got a, I guess, elbow, and these can move forward, back as well. On both sides, the head can swivel, and it can look a little bit to the left and right, although it has a tendency to more. That's the problem I have been having. The gut gun doesn't like to, sit very well. It pops out very easily. On the back legs, at the hips though, move forward and back and go outward. So, you can be lewd or disgusting. There's this knee joint and the other knee joint if you need it. And there's I guess a forward back ankle joint of sorts, and another little joint right there. So you've got some posability, and of course the tail has two segments, so it can move as you need it. He's got a face swap gimmick. If I can get these out of the tray. And his guts fell out again. What do you know? Yep, he's got two different faces, as well as he's got his normal face, his I guess a little bit more angry face, and his surprised face. And it's actually pretty easy. Literally just pop the head off. It's just a simple peg. And I forgot to mention his mouth can open and shut. So, yep, simple peg. This mouth closes all the way. What's also really, just swap, done. See, now he's got a surprise face on. What's really interesting though is you can also swap the eyes by pulling them out right there. It's kind of creepy looking, but you can do that, swap the eyes out, and now he's looking in a different direction. Same with this one. Swap the eyes out, and there you go. Different direction. You can do that with all three heads. And it's got little whiskers. They're like a really bendy plastic. So that. To transform him real quick, of course, you got to remove this, which, it's already done that for me. And you got to remove this back section too. And you want to kind of wiggle it free. So set those aside for now. And from there, I like to take the legs, and you got to move them up like this. And on top of that, you want to untap it from the back here, spin it around, and then re-tab it in. If I can actually find the tab. And then you want to straighten the legs out. Take this knee pad, move it forward up there. You can want to push from the back if you move it up into there. Same on this side. Move it up. And then take these ankles, fold the paw up as far as you can, and push it in. Same on this side. You want to do this after the knee part. Push that in, and then you take the heels for the robot mode, pull them out, and then take the feet, move them down, and they'll click into place. And then take these little bits on the shins and just fold them in, and the feet are pretty much done. Legs and feet. From there, take this bit, fold it down, and then compress it in. Make sure that goes all the way in. And then you'll want to take the front legs and move them such a way. There's a little slot here, a little slot there that goes that this tab goes into. And you want to take the left leg first and move it in, and then do the same on this side. Move the leg over and tab it in. Oops. Then you want to line up these legs so this peg on the right leg can go in that hole on the left leg. Now we'll form the backpack. And on the back of the cheetah, well, if you haven't already, you want to pull this off and separate them to the sides. And there's the robot arms. From there, you want to move on this axis. You want to move these out and move the arms down. And then you'll take these shoulder bits and kind of plug them into this little thing on the top, both sides. Now you'll want to take these, I guess, cheetah parts and just kind of, they're on a little hinge. Just kind of slowly work them back. Mine are a little stiff, so it's a little scary, but you want to take that hinge and just kind of slowly move it back so it's kind of sitting a little bit farther on the arm, and then rotate the wrists. Do the same on this side. Gonna move that back. This one's a little easier, and rotate the wrist. And arms are pretty much done at this point. Now, hold on. There we go. Now, what you want to do is take this head, the robot head, you want to move it up so that it kind of plugs in right there. And you have to spin this whole head around. And this is where the kind of little trick can be a little tricky. You're going to have to fold this whole backpack in on itself. It's going to whole collapse on itself. See, first you want to move this so it starts moving in. You want to fold it in, but then you want to fold this up underneath. So it kind of accordions. This whole thing accordions, basically. So you get that. And when that's done, you got to start according the whole thing down. Make sure that cheetah head is nice and lined up. Coordinate it down. Take this blue piece right here. It's got a tab in that slot right here. It can be a little tricky. It doesn't like to fully tab in all the time, but you can do it, and you now have more or less Cheetor in robot mode. If you can stand. There we go. Now, Cheetor here is actually really good looking. And of course comes with two weapons, which you have to transform as well. The gut gun, which is the one you usually use in the show. You have to take this tab, and it's kind of annoying. This likes to plug in real good. You have to open it up, pull the gun out, and pop the handle out, close it up, and boom, you got the gun. Gut gun. And this other gun, which you used once or twice in the show, this one's a little trickier. You kind of have to spin these around, and then there's little tabs. You have to tab here. Tab in. And on the bottom, I'm going to pull this gun out and spin it around and forward. And then from the top, you want to push that through, and then push the handle out. Want to adjust these so that they're kind of facing forward as like, I guess, a little shield thing. And then, oh, backwards. And then you take the tail and you have to tab it in the bottom of the handle and the little peg right there on the gun. That's the second gun. So, 2 weapons. This one's pretty straightforward. It's pretty much like every other masterpiece. Just kind of tab it into his hand. So you wiggle it in until it tabs in, and then close the hand around. This one, though, the second one is a pain in the butt. You have to, it doesn't tab. It has no tabs. So you have to undo this part, open the hand up a little, move this little arm guard, kind of slot it in and hope for the best. Just kind of, yeah, you just have to slot it in and kind of slowly maneuver it and close this up around and just keep maneuvering. It's never a good grip. So it kind of has a tendency to flop like that. If you can get into a pose where it doesn't move so much, but it's, you have to just kind of use the arm guard as kind of a holder. If you use the arm guard as a bit of a holder, it kind of works a little better, but it's still kind of annoying. So I don't like that gun so much. This gun's fine. That gun, not so much. Now he also, in robot mode, has a face swap. He has 2 additional faces. Let's see if I can get a good focus on these. Yep. So you got more of a happy face and a kind of a surprise face, as well as his kind of stoic face. And swapping on these is also pretty easy. Just kind of pull that out and swap in a new one. Peg it in. Pretty simple. Now, articulation wise, as you saw, the head can go side to side, up and down a little bit. Well, that's a little stiffer. Shoulders can move forward and back, outward. This shoulder doesn't like to stay pegged in from the transformation. I don't know why, but it likes to do this. It just kind of comes unpegged. It's kind of frustrating. The shoulders can also move inward and outward and up like this on this hinge right here. So that can actually be really helpful. Of course, bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. So he's got that. Wrist can actually, spin and also go outward and inward, which is very helpful. And also can lose grip of the gun because you knocked it loose like a doofus. I'm just gonna get it out of the way. Same with this one. The waist can swivel left and right. No ab crunch. No ab crunch. Hips forward, back. They're a little inhibited by the legs, but not a huge deal. Outward. Then there's a thigh swivel above the knee. Knees essentially single jointed. I mean, there's stuff there for 2 hinges for double jointed, but that's more for the beast mode. So it's essentially single jointed. Feet. Ankles, there's a kind of a pseudo ankle tilt thing at the foot. And he's also got a toe joint, a pretty nice toe joint. His heel can also adjust as you need it. So posability wise is actually pretty good. Just the only thing really missing that's been in a lot of more recent masterpiece figures is the ab crunch. And not all the new ones have that. Also doesn't like to stand on this particular surface. Here he is with the Masterpiece Primal. Good scale there. There's also Generations Rat Trap. Again, scales pretty well. And, well, there's Rhinox, but Rhinox doesn't scale well at all. He's a little too short comparatively. He should be a bit taller, but it's decent. He's taller than Cheetor at least. Yeah. It's clear, he's made for Masterpiece, but he scales well with Generations Rat Trap. Scales relatively okay with Generations Rhinox, but he of course scales fantastically with Masterpiece Primal, so there's that. And of course, I suspect he'll of course scale really well with Masterpiece Dinobot, which will be a miracle if they pull that off, because they cheated a lot on his transformation in the show. But anyway, a couple little problems. Like I said, there's this shoulder joint doesn't quite like to stay together. Mine has some paint scuffs right here from the transformation, unfortunately. Might have to like get a black Sharpie or something and fill those in. It's kind of unfortunate, so watch out for that. So it's particularly for that spot. I've noticed some other people have the same problem. I'm not having any other paint issues. Some people's are having trouble with joints because they're very, very tight, I've noticed. Yes, mine are definitely tight. Mine haven't broken yet, so there's that. But otherwise, I haven't had any real issues with the guys. Just those two little things. So just watch out for tight joints, and the shoulders in particular don't. I know multiple people said their shoulders don't like to, I guess, click together very well. This one's fine. This one's tight enough that it kind of likes to come apart. Someone said loosening the screw can help. I did that, and it kind of worked, but not super well. So your mileage may vary on that. But anyway, those are the small problems. Not a huge. Oh, and I guess his second gun just kind of sucks in general. Unfortunate, but he didn't use it that much in the show anyway, so not a huge deal. So this gun, you're gonna have to finagle it to make it work. This one's fine. So I recommend it. I like him a lot. So there's that. So yeah, that's my review of Masterpiece Cheetor.